wanted to share my knowledge on how to make this Lunaria or honesty plants. And they are made out of wafer paper, so it will take you maybe, like for the whole thing, maybe a few minutes to make. And I would like to show how to make those. What I use to make those is just like regular wafer paper you can buy on Amazon, or I buy this on Amazon. And if you never worked with wafer paper, it feels and looks like maybe a little bit thicker than just regular paper you print on, but it has two sides. One side is rough, so it has some bumps, and the other side is smooth. It doesn't matter, both sides work the same. It is just your preference which side to use. And to make this Lunaria or honesty plants, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use craft punches. One of them are 1.5 inches. I believe it's about like 4.5, like 4 centimeters maybe, and the other one is 1 inch, so it's 2.5 centimeters. And I'm making in two sizes, so I'll show you both. First of all, for each flower, for each bloom, petal, flower, you need 2 circles. That's what we are going to do. And wafer paper is easy to cut. You can use scissors, you can use craft punches, you can use cutting machines or other tools that are used in scrapbooking. So it doesn't matter whatever you prefer. And I'll make, so we're going to make 3 in a large size. And oh, hello Evelyn. Let me know if you can hear me, because I'm just testing this whole thing and I'm not sure if it's working. And I'll make 3 in a small size. So again, 2 layers for each one. Oh, we lost one. So I'll make one. Okay. And usually I have, if I'm working or doing something, usually I do a production line, so I cut a lot and I store them. This is the small size, and I store them just in a plastic bag. Make sure it's closed, because wafer paper will dry out easily and nothing you can do with that. Okay, so let's start with the big one. For the large one, like this size one, you need 26 gauge wire. I use PME because where I live it's easy to get. We have a PME store here in Chicago, and I use white for this because we'll need to have it in brown and we'll paint it later. Cut wire in 4 pieces. And what we're going to need is water. So I have just regular water, nothing special, and clean brush. Make sure that's, yeah, Evelyn, that's for sure. Craft punches are the easiest one. So clean brush, just regular water, and as I showed you, the wafer paper has 2 sides. One is smooth and another one is rough. I hope you can see it better in this slide. Because we are making plants, we are making leaves or like petals. I prefer to use the rough side out, because like nothing in nature is this smooth. Evelyn, it's 26 gauge wire. So prepare your 2 pieces of wafer paper and 1 piece of 26 gauge wire. Next step is apply water, but as you can see, now my brush is wet. What I'm doing is I'm almost taking all the water off my brush. It's basically just damp, but it's not soaking in water. And I apply water all around on a shiny side, so on a smooth side. Place it down. Place your wire about maybe quarter in, and again, smooth side in, rough side out. Apply and stick it together. And you can use something like just regular foam to prep it and to put it on the side. Again, 2 pieces, shiny side up, and we apply water and we sticking them together, shiny side to shiny side. So like the smooth side. A little bit of water until it becomes just sticky, but not melting. So it sticks, but it's not melting yet. A little bit of, just a little bit. Your wire, about quarter an inch in. And another smooth side goes on top. And make it stick. So you can see I have rough side out, and on the other side as well, rough side out. For the small ones, for this one, I do the same, but because they are so small, I usually use 28 gauge wire. You will need just a tiny piece, and for the 28 gauge wire I usually cut it in 6 because we don't need much. Okay, again, small, tiny wafer paper rounds, the same. A little bit of water, your wire, and press it down. Make sure you press down here where 2 pieces sandwich the wire, because you don't want these things flying around. Just make sure it sticks to itself. Wire, water, rough side up. So if you can see, what we made here is 4 rounds, and they are relatively flat, like pancakes. Nothing interesting compared to this one I have here. To make those, because wafer paper, you can melt wafer paper with water. To make it, what we are going to do is to melt wafer paper, but controllable. So a little bit on your brush, a little bit more than you used. And just apply around the corner, lightly brushing and melting those 2 layers together. Rub it in and let it dry again, and what you will get is something like this. So you can definitely see the difference, like the one before you add water around the corner, and this one curls and just like does its magic. So next step, let them dry for maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes. I did this 10 minutes ago, so nothing special. And to make them look like real plants, like in nature, we need to color and add all these details. To add your details, make sure it's dry, because if you're going to paint on a wet wafer paper, it's going just to be a little bit messy. I have a brown food marker, but you can use any. I have PME, you can use any brown marker, or because in nature these are brown colored ends. So you can use any brown food marker, or you can use petal dust, brown petal dust mixed with alcohol, or you can use even brown food gel, nothing special. So to paint your edges, just take, see, I always do this, so I touch my finger, my pinky to another hand just to make it stable, because, and my elbows also on the table. Just paint gently around the corner with your food marker. It doesn't need to be like super nice and clean, because nothing in nature is super precise and clean. Do the same for your small ones. If you're using gel color or you're using petal dust mixed with alcohol, just use a smaller brush to do the same tricks. And again, just around the corner. And what I do, why I use white wire and not green wire, because green will be shown here inside, but white wire you can actually color. And now, can you see the difference between the white wire and brown? So now you can do this to all your wires. And I don't even know if you, let me know if you're ever have ever seen brown floral wire, or because I only seen white and green and I never seen brown, so that's why what I do. And to add all those details, I'm using the same marker, but this part of the marker is a little bit smaller, so it's easier to control. And what I do is I need just a little flick, so I'm flicking my marker from the inside to the outside to add these little tiny lines to make it look like a plant. Just light flick. I do this on both sides. And if you want to add a seed pod, because Lunaria or honesty plants have seed pods inside, just paint it with your marker, tiny dots. Make it look like you have those seeds inside. The same for small ones, just a couple flicks, tiny lines, and on both sides, because you never know when you're assembling your flowers, you never know what side is going to be visible and what side is going to be closer to you when you're arranging this. And the last step I have is to add some shine and to make them look like they are, like they look in nature. If you can see, I hope you can see, it's shiny. And regular wafer paper is not so shiny. So to do that, I'm using just the pearl dust. This is Super Pearl by Global Sugar, but any Super Pearl or pearl dusts are going to work. Just a little bit on your finger. Yay! I want to put it on my face. And rub it on your wafer paper. You can use a brush, but I think that finger gives you more control. Can you see the difference? You can use just super pearl. You can use gold dust or silver dust. Any metallic dust will work, but depends on the look you're going for. Because if you're going for something like rustic or nature inspired, I would rather use pearl dust, because in my opinion it looks more authentic compared to using like silver or gold. But it depends on the look, or it depends on the cake or project you're working on. So the next step is assembly, and to assemble I use quarter with floral tape, and you know that you need to stretch your floral tape. I'm starting usually with the two pots put together, and I'm not going from the smallest to largest. I'm just go the way it looks more realistic. Secure your floral tape, just squish it together, turn your pot and pull it up, and pull your floral tape down with your non-dominant hand. So this is good enough. Now to add another one. I'm just placing it on top and leaving about an inch gap, and continue to, because the wire is so thin, you can do this and you don't need to wire all those parts. Next is the small one, and for the small one I would rather add, like, leave a little bit less space than for the big one. And maybe another big one, and continue to pull your floral tape and make it stick to itself. And that's it. Now you need to make it look nice. Maybe bend your stem or like a main wire and add some movement to that, and you're done. Here's your Lunaria plant we made just now. And to assemble them together or place them on a cake, just make, I don't know, thousands, hundreds, because they actually look nice, and they are nice as a filler flower, or if you're doing some rustic cakes, or you're doing something with heavy textures and you need to add something light to your cake or your flower arrangement, and you can put it together in a few minutes. So, and you can store it in a bag. They are not going to break because it's wafer paper, so it's indestructible compared to gum paste and stuff. So here you have it. Let me know if you have any questions. Post this in a comment or message me, text me, whatever. I'm happy to answer all your questions about wafer paper or I don't know, gum paste, flower arrangements, everything that has to do with cake, art, and doing something special and interesting.